Bueno, Next va a seguir con nosotros también, otra eminencia, parte del equipo del GNI de Google. Se une a nosotros Arun Venkataraman, que nos va a hablar de la aceleración de la transformación del negocio en la región y que es definitivamente una charla espectacular. Estuve viendo algunas cosas y realmente vale la pena. So, Arun, thank you very much for joining us. I'm leaving you with the audience, so all yours.
Thank you, Gaston, and thank you to the entire Media Party team for having us today. As Gaston mentioned, my name is Arun Venkataraman. I'm based in New York, and I'm on the global strategy team for the Google News Initiative. Have been working in the news space at Google for a little bit more than 5 years now, which is a little bit surreal at times. Today, we're going to talk about accelerating business transformation across Latin America, but specifically a program that we just launched an hour ago and that we're proud to be able to share with you. So I will present. Perfecto. So we launched the Google News Initiative nearly 2.5 years ago, the March of 2018. And we did it in order to respond to a very real need that publishers all across the world were voicing to us, which was support and help in transitioning to digital and finding sustainability. And so if we look at the work of the Google News Initiative, specifically in Latin America across the first 2.5 years, a lot of that work has been focused on projects with individual partners, scaled programs, labs like the Subscriptions Lab or the Contributions Lab, just working alongside publishers in the ecosystem, subject matter experts, to start to discover the solutions for sustainability in a digital context. And we took the approach of really experimenting and learning alongside the industry. As we look back at all of that knowledge 2.5 years later, we felt that there was a moment now for us to share the full extent of what we've learned and to make it as accessible and useful to publishers, not just in Latin America, but all across the world. And so I'm excited to announce the launch of the Google News Initiative Digital Growth Program, which is focused on helping small to mid-sized news organizations globally succeed online. But really, publishers of all sizes will be able to find materials that can help them as they navigate their own journeys for digital success. I wanted to share some of the guiding principles of this program to give you a sense of where this material comes from. First, it's important that we grounded the program in unique insights and intellectual assets. And so, as you'll see, we've developed a lot of playbooks, workshops, materials, the focus of which is to really share everything that we've learned across our projects, across our labs, case studies, insights, and make it available to everyone here. Second, it was important that we launched this program in partnership with subject matter experts and industry associations. So the materials that you'll see here aren't simply a reflection of what Google thinks. In fact, the role that we've really played here is to bring in subject matter experts on topics like subscriptions or contributions or product and data together, and then work with industry associations to ensure that we're able to communicate the collective wisdom and knowledge in that particular topic. Third, we want to respect that there aren't one-size-fits-all solutions for all publishers. There's no one solution that is going to be the answer to digital sustainability or digital transformation. What we can do is provide structured approaches and materials that help publishers be as informed as possible as they make key strategic and tactical decisions on their digital transformation journey. And so one of the real focus points for us as we've developed these materials over the past 6 months is to help you go on a journey and ensure that as you make decisions along that journey, you have as much information, as many exercises, tools, and resources as possible, so you feel confident about the decisions you make. And then finally, it was important for us that the materials that we offer are regularly refreshed to reflect the body of knowledge as it evolves. There are 4 components of the program. So there are playbooks, which are really strategic frameworks, recommendations for solving key business challenges. And along the way, we support that with case studies from publishers who've had success and tactics, actionable tactics that you can take back to your newsrooms and implement. Interactive exercises that really bring the lessons from the playbook to life and allow you to add your own data to understand what the journey might look like for you. And then to bring the playbooks and interactive exercises to life, a series of workshops that we'll be kicking off the first week in October, and that we'll be doing in both Spanish Latin America and in Brazil, in Spanish and Portuguese, respectively. And I'll share a little bit more information about that. And then finally, we'll continue to launch these smaller labs with about 8 to 15 publishers participating in each, as an opportunity to really test out hypotheses that can inform our collective understanding of these critical business topics, but also help publishers with personalized diagnostics, personalized action plans that helps them on their own journey for digital transformation. And finally, all of these components come together in an online hub, a website that I'll share with you shortly. We're launching initially across 5 different topics. Audience development, the focus there is on the best practices and the strategy to grow your readership, to deepen your engagement with audiences. Reader revenue, as publishers all across the world have been looking to diversify their revenue models, we increasingly get questions around what are the best practices, what are learnings around building and strengthening your contributions or subscriptions business. Advertising revenue, what are best practices to optimize advertising revenue? Data, how do you increase your overall data maturity as an organization? How do you make data inimical, foundational, fundamental to who you are as a news organization and how you approach key business decisions? And then finally, product. Greg's presentation really brought to life the ways in which a product-oriented culture has been really central to the Washington Post success. We want to share resources that we've been able to collect from our learnings and insights through projects in the Google News Initiative these past couple of years to really help publishers think through how to approach building out products in a news context and to use those design thinking principles. So the focus of the program is North America, Latin America, Brazil, and Spanish Latin America, Asia Pacific, and Europe. We're really focused, so it's a global program, but it was extremely important to us that as we launched these materials that we had regional examples and that the materials were also localized in local languages. As I mentioned before, the materials will be available in both Spanish and Portuguese. It's also important for us to really lean into our role as a convener to bring together industry associations, subject matter experts who really understand this space at depth. And so what you see here are the logos of partners and vendors that we've worked with to really develop materials across each one of these five business topics. And you'll see here there's a number of partners in Latin America that we've worked with, Miram, Black, SIP, CMS Medio, Iconosur, to develop our reader revenue materials specifically. So today, September 17th, we launched in Asia Pacific, Latin America, and North America with a focus on reader revenue. So this is the first topic that we'll have a playbook and interactive exercises for, and that we'll launch workshops for that anyone can attend and anyone can sign up for, starting the first week of October. In the coming months, we'll release additional materials for our other topics and also launch workshops on those topics. So this, there's actually a website. Now that the website is launched, I probably don't need to show you the screenshot, but I'll go through the presentation and actually jump to the website itself so you can see it in action. But here you see all 5 topics called out. To just give you a little bit more of an understanding for what we're hoping to accomplish with the reader revenue component, it's really to help publishers understand the differences between subscriptions model, contributions models, what is a better fit for that particular news organization, and how do you make the strategic and tactical decisions you need to not only build a subscriptions or contributions model, but to ensure that it's optimized. A couple of the key assets that are part of this program, on the left-hand side, you'll see a screenshot of the playbook, which is available in Spanish and Portuguese. And then the right-hand side, the interactive exercises where you can add your own data to understand what the journey for reader revenue success might look like for your news organization. And I've added just a GIF here of what the reader revenue playbook actually looks like. So there's multiple sections, everything from establishing your reader revenue foundations, using surveys and interviews to better and more deeply understand readers' needs, to developing and communicating your value proposition, to optimizing the user funnel. How do you get the science of the user funnel right? So you're optimizing for discovering your audiences, engaging your audiences, converting those audiences into either contributors or subscribers, monetizing them effectively, and then retaining them in the long run by really investing in those relationships. So the full kind of spectrum of activities that we've seen publishers across the world who've been successful build out reader revenue models do for their own respective organizations, and along the way sharing their examples, their insights, their case studies. There are a few standalone interactive exercises that we've built out. There are interactive exercises that are embedded within the flow of the playbook, but in addition, you'll see here a few additional exercises that we thought that would be helpful for publishers to access directly. This is an opportunity sizing exercise, and it's essentially an exercise that allows you to understand what the one-year reader revenue opportunity for your news organization could look like. And we ask you a few questions. Of course, none of the data is stored or collected, so this is something that you can add data to without fear that it's going to be collected or used in any other way. But it's really an exercise or a tool for news organizations who are at the beginning of their reader revenue journey to really make the case to their to others in the organization that reader revenue is an opportunity that the news organization should consider seriously or not. And so, one of the things that we oftentimes say is that there isn't any right answer or one-size-fits-all answers to these really critical business problems. But what there are informed decisions to those challenges and to those problems. And so this gives you an opportunity to be as informed as possible as you go back to your news organizations and have those conversations about what diversification of revenue might look like. We also have a user funnel diagnostic. The user funnel is really the science of how do you ensure you're effectively engaging, converting, retaining your readers. And so we've, through our labs, been able to put together benchmarks across key metrics like average visits per user, conversion rate, your average reader revenue per user. And this exercise gives you the opportunity to do is to add your news organization's own data and see where you compare against those industry benchmarks. And then in those areas where you could do better, we provide tactics, actionable tactics and recommendations that you can use to improve your performance. I think it's for me and for many of us at the Google News Initiative, fundamentally, it is about the journalism. It is about ensuring that there is an ecosystem where quality, sustainable information continues to be created and is available for everyone who needs it. We know the importance of that information probably now more than ever before in the wake of the pandemic, and in a year that has certainly put for us front and center why journalism is so fundamentally important. But what we oftentimes find is when we look at sustainability of news organizations who are looking at reader revenue models, the difference between success and failure might be being able to convert 1 or 2 out of every 100 people that come to your website to becoming a subscriber or contributor. In our internal studies, we've seen that publishers oftentimes need to convert 3 to 5% of their reader base to be successful, which, to put it differently, is 3 to 5 out of every 100 people. So the difference between converting 2 people out of every 100 and 3 people out of every 100 can be the difference between having a successful reader revenue model and not having a successful reader revenue model. And so every little bit that you can do to optimize the user funnel, to improve your performance across these key metrics can be essential to your success. Finally, goal setting. So part of a critical component of the reader revenue journey for our publishers that we've worked with was putting out a long-term plan that they can use, or creating a long-term plan for reader revenue success that they could use to really galvanize or energize the entire news organization around. If you think about the success of news organizations like the New York Times or the Financial Times in reader revenue, a really key milestone for that process was setting a goal, 1 million subscribers, 10 million subscribers, that they could galvanize the entire news organization around. And so what we do here is walk you through an exercise where we ask you to set that long-term goal, and we provide you some guidance on how you can think about it, how other news organizations have thought about it, to select the key target metrics that you're going to focus on to achieve that goal, and then the tactics that you're going to be investing in to be able to achieve those target metrics. And so when you go through this exercise, the hope is that you have a plan that you can share across the editorial and the business sides of your news organization to understand what reader revenue success could look like for your own news organization, and that really pulls from the lessons that we have embedded in the playbooks. Finally, we have a series of workshops. This is a lot of content with the playbook, with the interactive exercises. And so to really make it a little bit easier to digest, we're doing a series of workshops. We're starting off with a reader revenue overview workshop, which will provide a high-level overview of what it takes to be successful in reader revenue and the content that we'll be covering. Following that, every week and then every 2 weeks, we'll be doing deep dive modules on specific topics that we address in the playbook. So establishing your reader revenue foundations. How do you size your reader revenue opportunity? How do you use surveys and interviews and analytics to really deeply understand your readers' needs, which is at the foundation of reader revenue success? How do you set your long-term reader revenue goals? How do you optimize your user funnel? How do you develop and communicate your value proposition? So through a series of 5 workshop modules, we'll be covering those topics. And in between those workshop modules, we'll be hosting a series of expert discussions with publishers we've worked with who've had success in reader revenue. Some of the expert sessions, 3 of the expert sessions will take place in English, but we'll have Spanish subtitles. And then the last expert session will actually take place in Spanish and feature publishers who've had success with subscription models in Spanish Latin America. And to give you a sense of the workshop and what the workshop sign-up page looks like for the Spanish version, you see the link here, but feel free to check it out. We'll be sure to share the links with the Media Party team so they can share that with this group afterwards. And then to give you a sense of who you'll be hearing from during these workshops, it's a combination of industry experts, Googlers internally who've become subject matter experts in these topics, and then industry associations that we've worked with. In Latin America, we're working with a whole host of Latin American vendors and industry associations, and all of the trainings will be delivered in either Spanish or Portuguese. Thank you. I'm mindful that we're at time, but I will just very quickly show you the actual website itself. And just to give you a sense of what the experience looks like, I'm going to go to Spanish. Sorry, it always auto translates. Nope.
Don't worry, don't worry. Arun, it was very, very helpful talk. Very helpful. Thank you very much for sharing. Just in terms of clarifying, what do you think that is a target audience for this program? Just to let the audience know who can apply to the program.
Yeah, so the program and the workshops itself are available to anyone and everyone. So there's no application process. You just need to sign up for the workshop on the website. What I would say, because our first topic is focused on reader revenue, publishers who are early on their reader revenue journey, who are maybe having some really critical challenges with reader revenue and need some help to think through those challenges. And I think we've primarily found that to mean small to mid-sized news organizations. So small legacy news organizations, but also emerging digital native news organizations. I will say, though, that there's some larger news organizations in Latin America that have taken a look at our materials and have found it very useful too. What I would recommend, the program works most effectively if you're able to attend all of the modules and all 5 of the workshop modules. But if you do have specific challenges, let's say around optimizing your user funnel, we also encourage you to maybe just visit that or attend that particular deep dive session. And then there'll also be a Slack channel where you can ask consultants questions. So I would welcome anyone and everyone who has questions. I'd also recommend having folks from both the business and the newsroom side of the organization attend these workshops, as the fundamental challenge for reader revenue success in particular is breaking down the silos between the editorial and business sides of the newsroom and ensuring that they can work together cohesively. And I think it has a lot of good effects. Reader revenue, particularly contributions, can have a lot of really good impact on journalism also in these news organizations, because it changes the orientation away from how many eyeballs does your journalism get to how deeply are readers engaging with your journalism. And so it gives newsrooms an opportunity to really invest in the sort of journalism and stories that are the reasons why they oftentimes wanted to become journalists. And so anyone and everyone, newsroom, editorial side, but primarily publishers who are early on their reader revenue journeys or have challenges that they'd like to address.
Sounds great. Very good advices. So Arun, thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for all the details. I'm sure that we have a few newsrooms in the audience that are going to leverage the program. So thank you.
No, and thank you so much, Gaston. And I'll share the materials with you so you can can send it out to the broader group.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Stay safe, stay healthy, everyone.
Same for you.